These tips I'm about to give you are going to absolutely help you get off the ground speaking very basic Spanish. It's going to be enough for you to build off on. First things first, you have to learn some phrases. Yeah, I know you want to learn grammar. Yeah, I know you want to learn all the complicated stuff, but you need to learn set phrases because they got some things in Spanish and really any language where you just have to know it in order to speak the language. So, first one, the very basic, everybody knows this if you watch Dora the Explorer. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hello, how are you? Nos vemos. See you later. Adios. Bye. The one that everybody's familiar with. So you got nos vemos y adios. Donde está? Where is? And then you insert whatever keyword or phrase that you want. You're going to have to learn some vocabulary, but donde está? Whatever the thing is, you're going to be good to go. All you birds chirping. I need to shut up. Necesito ayuda. I need help. Te puedo hacer una pregunta. Or puedo hacerte una pregunta. Can I ask you a question? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? What is your name? ¿Cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuál es tu edad? How old are you? What's your age? Tengo hambre. I'm hungry. ¿Me puedes decir dónde or qué? Can you tell me where or what? You might have to use this phrase like if you know, in a Latin American country or Spain or somewhere where they speak Spanish, can you tell me where this thing is? Can you tell me what this thing is? Quiero, no quiero. I want, I don't want. Puedes repetir más lento. Can you repeat slower, please? And really, there's a lot more words and phrases I could tell y'all, but we would literally be here all day, and this video would probably be like several hours long. I know y'all don't got that kind of time, but those are some good phrases to get you started, whether you're in a Latin American country or like you just out and about, you just meet somebody that only speaks Spanish, you could at least have some kind of conversation with them. So that's some phrases. Now let's go on to like the very basic grammar. So the most basic sentence structure in Spanish is subject, verb, object. So that in Superman's terms, that's something like John eats pizza. John, subject, verb, eats, pizza, object. There are some exceptions, but that's like the most basic form. Like if you say that 99% of the time, people are going to understand you, even though it's technically not correct in certain circumstances. Example of Spanish would be Juan come pizza. Another thing that you need to know about Spanish is that it's pro drop. Simple math terms, that means you don't need the subject in most situations. So like the example I just gave you, Juan come pizza. You could just say come pizza. Now, if you need more information, you can add Juan back to the sentence. So Juan, so that people know exactly who you're talking about. But if people already know that you're talking about Juan, like you just drop Juan and say come pizza. That brings me to the next thing that you need to know about Spanish, is the conjugations. Now, a lot of people know about the conjugations. I mean, at least they know they exist. But I'm about to tell you how you're going to conjugate basic regular verbs in Spanish. Let's start with comer, to eat. That's the most basic regular verb that you're going to have in Spanish. The present tense, so that means you're doing it right now. Como, take off the ER, add an O. Comes, take off the ER, add an ES. Come, take off the ER, add an E. Comemos, take off the ER, add an EMOS. Comen, take off the ER, add an EN. Y come, take off the ER, add an EN. Como, I eat. Comes, you eat. Come, he, she, it eats. Comemos, we eat. Comen, they eat, or y'all eat. Now, if you're in Spain, it's like comáis, but a lot of Spanish speakers don't use that, so like you probably rarely going to have to use that. I think even in Spain, they don't really use it that much. So like that's something that you really don't have to learn, but if you want to, it's good to learn. Now, in the past tense, comí, so you take off the ER, add the E, and you put the emphasis on the E. So comí, not comí, comí. Comiste, you ate. So you take off the ER, add an ISTE, comiste. Comió, take off the ER, add an IO, put the emphasis on the O. Comió, so not comio, comió. Comimos, so take off the ER, add an IMOS. So instead of EMOS, it's IMOS. So comimos. Then you got comieron. So you take off the ER, you add an IEORN. So comieron. They ate, y'all ate. So that's the ER verbs. So you also got IR, AR verbs, but the conjugations are basically the same. Like for IR verbs, it's basically the same as ER in most cases. Like I'm gonna make a separate video on that. AR verbs, the same. The only difference is any place where the with a E, you're going to replace it with the A. So, for example, comieron, they got another verb, hablar. So you want to say they talked or y'all talked in the past, you say hablaron. So instead of having an I-E-R-O-N, you just have a A-R-O-N. So hablaron. So now future tense. So let's say comer. So you're going to put an E at the end. You're going to keep the ER, just put an E. So comere. So you just put the emphasis on the E. So not comere, comere. You will eat, comerás. So you keep the ER, just add an AS and put the emphasis on the A. So comerás, not comerás, comerás. He, she, it will eat, comerá. So put the emphasis on the A. So keep the ER, put the A at the end, comerá, not comera, comerá. They will eat, comerán. So put an AN, put the emphasis on the A, comerán, not comerán, comerán. So we will eat, comeremos. So you keep the ER, add the EMOS, comeremos. So add the ER, EMOS, comeremos. So again, that's the ER verbs. You got AR, IL verbs. IL verbs pretty much follow the same form as ER verbs. AR verbs, you're pretty much doing the same thing. You just put this instead of E, you just replace with an A. Really, that's the basics of verb conjugation. Now they got subjunctive, they got other forms. But if you're just trying to be understood, you just need something that, like you about to go out the country and you just need something like real quick, we're going to worry about that later. But let's move on to the next part. Now, verb conjugation is nice and all, but, you actually want to be able to express yourself. You actually want to be able to say, oh, I did something for them, or like you want to talk about like more complex sentences. So let's get into that real quick. If you're trying to say somebody's receiving the action, like you want to say, I gave him a gift, or no, I talked to her, or, it was for them. You want to say something like that, then we go a little bit more complex. So for example, let's say you want to say something a little bit more complex. Let's say they talk to you. In this context, you will say they hablaron. Some of y'all may be confused, like, why is it not like tú hablaron? Right, so you got different types of pronouns. So like yo, tú, él, ella, ellos, ustedes, vosotros, if you're in Spain. Those are basically nouns. I got the definitions right here. But those are basically the pronouns that you use when you're trying to say that somebody is doing an action. So yo como, I am eating, tú hablas, you are talking, so on and so forth. But now if you're trying to say that I or he or she or it or whatever's trying to receive an action, they have a whole different set of pronouns that you have to use. So if I want to say somebody talked to you, I have to say they. Te hablaron. Why? Because you are receiving the action. You are not doing the action. For example, for yo, it would be me. Me hablaron. For tú, it would be te hablaron. For él, ella, ellos, it would be le hablaron. For ellos, it would be les hablaron. And for y'all, it would be the same thing, les hablaron. Pronoun has received an action always goes before the verb, so it's never hablaron te. No, it's te hablaron. The only time the pronoun that's receiving the action is going to go after the verb is when the verb is not conjugated. For example, hablarte. So hablar is not conjugated to talk, and te is after the verb, so it's hablarte. It's the only way you're going to see like the pronoun after the verb. If you want to have two or more verbs in the same sentence, the first one has to be conjugated, the second one is never conjugated. So quiero hablarte. So quiero, I want, conjugated, hablar, not conjugated, te. And in this situation, you can put the pronoun that's receiving the action before the conjugated verb or after the conjugated verb. It's up to you. It's a preference. It's not a right or wrong thing. And that's really it for super basic Spanish. Like I said, this is super basic. This is just where if you just need to start talking for whatever reason, trying to go out of town, you just need to talk to somebody like that. So basically, this is just super basic Spanish. It's pretty much all you need to know just to get started. Like I said, I'm going to make some more videos on like going like deeper dive into like the more complex stuff. So like you actually express yourself more than better than like a 2-year-old. But if you just need something to start with, this is a good video. So yeah, stay tuned for more. And don't worry, I got y'all. Y'all gonna be speaking Spanish with me soon enough.